What's going on, guys? Back out in the garage getting ready to do some more work on the JKU. So today we are working on Synergy front track bar brace and sector shaft brace. So this is the track bar brace, and this is the sector shaft brace here. So what that will do is that'll provide a little stiffer, provide some rigidity to where the track bar meets the frame, as well as where the steering box meets the frame. It doesn't look like it's all that difficult of an install, but what I'll do is I'll get you in there and we'll take a look and show you what all we're going to get into. Alright, so what we're getting ready to look at here, we've got these 4 bolts in here. There's 2 of them back there hiding behind the, kind of next to or behind the spring. 2 out here, and the track bar bolt itself. Those all need to come out, at which time the steering gearbox will be loose. That bracket will come in here and hopefully just slip up in here and then get all bolted back together. The instructions do say that you can do this sitting on the ground, but then the very first step in the instructions say to support the vehicle so that the axle can sag. I'm wondering if maybe that gets the track bar out of your way, but for now we're gonna go at it like this until we can't and see where we get. Like I said, should just be take those, take that, and then the new bracket can go up in there. It does look like there will be some hard to reach things. We'll just see how it goes. I did see right there when I took that last bolt, I saw the gearbox want to move. So I'm wondering if I don't need something to try to prop it up or support it. definitely gonna try to move. I don't know how far it's gonna try to move. Okay, so ultimately I ended up disconnecting the sway bar, swinging it down. I've jacked up the vehicle to provide some more room. If this is gonna go on to this, it is gonna be a heck of a fit. Man, I will say one thing, once it's on there, whew. Not even close. You to hold it so I can start to put Loctite on them. Three hands, so Alright, so I went ahead and I started one bolt into the gearbox just to provide some alignment, because these need Loctite on them per the instructions. So before I went putting Loctite on them, I wanted to at least have one that would help me get these all lined up. So I'll do that one last now. These have not been easy to get in here and get started, I will give them that. And I thought once I had that one lined up that I would get these others a little easier, but that does not appear to be the case. And you got no view to see what you're doing. I mean, there is no seeing or feeling nothing in there. Problem is you're threading into just a threaded hole, so you really don't have any feel for if you're lined up or not. Got something there. Well, at least that one pulled in. Go ahead and take this one. Oops. A little heavy on the Loctite on that one. Well, that did line right up that time. Now the trick is going to be, can we get these back in here? Past that spring, now that we got the new bracket in the way. Well, that's looking like a no. That one will go. Okay. Now we got a problem. We're getting our top one. Okay, it looks like it might go. But I don't have any Loctite on it. All started now. Well, there wasn't anything that suggested any kind of proper alignment on this thing, just put it back together basically, so. wasn't sure. I think we can tighten these. We've got the sector shaft bracket that goes. I gotta get the sector shaft bolt down. This lock washer that we're supposed to reuse. So, if we can see up in here, that's the nut that I just took off of this sector shaft. Like I said, we got a sector shaft brace that will actually tie into these two holes and wrap around and support that sector shaft, keep any deflection out of that shaft or anything. Not that I've had problems, but well, I don't know if I'd mentioned the most recent wheeling trip, we popped a tire. It was the rear, actually it was that tire, and our spare. So these wheels and tires that I have on here, I bought secondhand. Actually bought them from Craigslist. Tires have been great. The only complaint that I would have is that the rear tire, long story, the rear tire is old and dry rotted. It's never been on the ground, and it was advertised as brand new. At the time it was a good deal to get all 5 wheels, tires. So this past weekend when we popped that rear, we slashed the sidewall against a rock, and when that happened, I knew that spare would not get me home. I was an hour and a half away from home in Sullivan, Missouri, and I know I couldn't drive at highway speeds as dry rotted as that tire is. Thankfully, my sister-in-law was on the trail with us. She's running the same brand tire and size, so I took her spare. And we got home on that, and so now I've got new tires coming because I was down the one that had a slash in the sidewall. The spare's no good, and I also had a tire that was patched the week prior. Picked up a razor blade on the highway. So anyway, effectively I was in a position that these tires still have a lot of life, but I was down to the point to where it was either try to find more of these, which are Dick CPEC Trail Country EXPs, which Dick CPEC has recently been bought out by Mickey Thompson. Therefore, these tires aren't readily available, and in a 35, they're kind of hard to come by. So it was either try to mismatch some tires or, you know, a lot of different scenarios. So ultimately what I decided to do, I'd been kicking the idea around. I was tempted to jump all the way up to a 38. This Jeep's really not geared for 38s. It's still running the factory 410s. So I went ahead and I got 37s. It's these CPECs actual size. Drives me a little crazy that tires don't come in the size that they say, and I never knew that until I started dealing with Jeep tires. So the 35s are actually like a 34 and a half, and measured on the ground they're even less than that with the weight of the Jeep and everything. So what I decided to go with was a Patagonia, Milestar Patagonia. If you guys, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Matt's Off-Road Recovery on YouTube or Light Bright Nation. They both run them, love them. They're not a terribly expensive tire, although when you get into tires these size, they're expensive. But next to like a Nitto or something like that, they're pretty reasonably priced. and they've got really good reviews. So we're gonna give those a go in a 37. I stuck with the 12.5 only because I was a little concerned if, not that I've had any rubbing issues, but I'm going up that much bigger in tire. I didn't want to cause any other rubbing concerns. We are gonna truss this front axle soon. So a lot of what you're seeing me do is the idea of kind of prepping this axle for being wheeled with 37s. We'll end up gusseting the C, trussing the whole axle. Like I said, just kind of prepping it. So here before a whole lot longer, we'll have this axle out from under here and doing some welding. My wife is currently attending some welding classes. I am not a great welder. I can make things stick together, but she's actually attending some classes and learning a lot. So we're gonna use her newfound skills and weld this axle up. Some of that will be welding to the C, for example, is cast steel, along with the center pumpkin is cast steel. That does require a little extra preparation in your welds. You have to heat things. Anyway, said all that to say you're gonna see us doing some additional stuff to get this prepped and ready for handling 37s and anything that we want to do to it. Again, it's a very capable rig as it sits. Just a little more ground clearance never hurt anybody, right? So here we come, 37s. But that should be happening here in a few days. I'll get that recorded once we have them on here. I don't know that I've showed you a lot of the side of the Jeep in its current state. We'll have to get some video of it sitting out in the driveway and things, the way it looks currently, and then we'll bring it back home on 37s. All right, let's get back at this. I need to start putting this sector shaft in. Got it to line up. Alright, so I know I didn't do a great job of filming that for you, but it's done. That's, you know, you had the main brace here, and then this wraps around, captures the sector shaft, and there is a bolt inside of there. You can just see it inside there. Helps tie all that together. And again, it's just taking any deflection present in the sector shaft away and tightening this whole thing and providing more support for your track bar. So it's all in there. That was definitely a chore. Track bar should not have changed, but I'll check it. Part of what my initial fight with this was, I had under here actually thought that this bracket was too narrow to go over this, so I'd actually tried to make this a little narrower in order to accept that, but a hammer proved to let that all come together, so I did have to try to spread that back apart a little bit once it was inside of this bracket, which was a little more difficult than I thought. This bolt style is new apparently from the instructions. It's a tapered head, so it kind of centers itself over that hole, and then the nut from the inside. The instructions are clear on that. These, I think they say, have to go that way. The bolt in near the sector shaft says it can go either way, but I could not put it in from the sector shaft side into the hole. It had to come from the inside out. It was the only way it would fit. So there you have it. I mean, that really does look like it beefs that up quite a bit. I'll likely set it back on the ground here and take it for a drive just to get a good feel for it. And see where we go from there. As always, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. And leave me any comments. Catch you guys on the next one.